So if the idea of a game where you play as a police officer in the 1980s in a huge open world city completely overrun with crime sounds fun to you, well, that's what the Precinct's trying to do. But is it any good? So today, guys, we're going to be talking about The Precinct. This game is an 80s cop sandbox of chaos, and I can't wait to talk about it in this video. So guys, if you're new to my channel, welcome to Live from My Basement, where I make cool new videos like this all the time. So be sure to subscribe if you like the video, and like the video if you like the video. But either way, guys, let's dive into the review. So right off the bat, the thing I love the most about The Precinct is that it's just the perfect 80s action cop sandbox. I love the over-the-top 80s vibe with people going around quoting popular 80s movies, and you can even catch a screening of Blue Harvest if you know what that means. But my favorite part is that this open world is just a crime sandbox for you to try to tame as a police officer, with the potential of even the simplest traffic stop turning into a full-blown shootout in a crime-ridden city where every shift as a police officer ultimately boils down to hilarious chaos, and it's up to you to rein it all in.
You have the right to remain silent.
And it's also pretty cool that at the beginning of every shift at the Precinct, you actually start out by choosing what kind of shift are you going to be doing today. Are you going to be on foot looking for parking violations? Or are you going to be on the highway looking for drunk drivers?
That explains the driving.
You can choose the shift in a helicopter where you're helping other officers hunt down their perps. Or you can even choose to just pound the pavement and do a patrol on foot, taking on crime as you find it. It's completely up to you. And that's one of my favorite parts about this game.
A shopkeeper has reported a graffiti artist at work.
Where you might start your shift doing a specific patrol, but with the random crimes and encounters, you hardly ever stay doing just that one thing. Where you might start out stopping a mugging, for example, and then get a call for a high-speed chase, and then join in on the pursuit. It's really cool. And it makes every shift feel unique because you never really know what's going to happen.
You have the right to remain silent.
But another element of the Precinct that the game absolutely nails is the interactions with the criminals. Where adding specific charges to a criminal has a surprising amount of depth where you actually kind of have to stay on your toes and remember, after this 3-minute car chase you just did this guy steal this car? Did he hit any pedestrians on the way? Is he drunk? And you actually get a dock to your experience if you charge somebody with a crime they didn't do, or if you arrest somebody unlawfully. But if you are paying attention and you add the correct charges, you get to arrest this person and take them downtown, and it's a ton of fun. But it's not just all about arresting people and gunfights, as you'll spend plenty of time going around issuing parking tickets and giving people fines for littering. And a lot of the fun and unpredictability often comes from a small charge like littering. You go up to give them a fine, you check their ID, you find out they have a warrant for their arrest, and then it turns into a full-blown chase. And that's what makes this game so much fun. Anytime you start an interaction, you never know how they're going to react.
You have the right to remain silent.
You have the right to remain silent.
One of the coolest elements of the Precinct is that the more you play the game, the better you get as a player at reading people in the game. For example, the more highway patrols you'll do, you'll start getting better at pointing out drunk drivers in the road. You'll notice more easily that, hey, that guy is swerving between the lines a little bit. Or if you notice that somebody acts nervous when you pull up behind them, check their plates. They might have a warrant out for their arrest and they're nervous, and that's actually reflecting in the way that they drive their vehicle. Another cool example of this is, say you're giving someone a ticket for littering, and then, it's just a small fine, but as you're talking to them, you realize that they're nervous, so, you check their ID, they don't have a warrant out for their arrest, but as you search them, you realize that they have narcotics on them. Which in the end, with a less experienced player, they may have just given them a ticket for the littering and let them go, but as you play the game, you actually get more effective at catching criminals, which in this case, turned into a full-blown arrest. And I know it may seem strange to mention this right in the middle of the video, but I have to say, hands down, the Precinct has some of the best car chases I've ever played in a game. I mean, I'm not even kidding. So you play as a police officer, so you spend a lot of time in high-speed pursuits chasing down perps, but what I love about the car chases in this game is that the AI and the pathfinding of the perps you're chasing is incredible. I love how you could just be in a high-speed pursuit on a highway, and at a moment's notice they could just rip it down some side street or an alley and navigate those wild side streets and alleys in such efficiency that it makes it so much fun to chase these guys, even though you're not the one being chased like in other games. Chasing down criminals in this game, trying to hit them with pit maneuvers, or calling in backup that can just fly in and hilariously wipe them out, or even call in support with spike strips. It's so much fun that it's one of my favorite parts of this game. To the point of every traffic stop I do, there's a part of me that hopes they try to run. But another really interesting part of the Precinct is that though you may be doing a lot of shifts where, you're getting into car chases or stopping muggings and things like that, it's not crazy uncommon for things to turn into a full-blown shootout, and that's where you really get to engage in the game's combat, where you're not just taking out people with nightsticks, but actually getting into a gunfight with multiple perps. And it's pretty satisfying because though you can go through all these shootouts just shooting tons of bullets to take everybody out, the game doesn't give you a ton of ammunition, so it does reward the player for slowing things down and lining up that perfect headshot, which is pretty cool. And if the handgun isn't enough, you can always run back to your trunk and get the right tool for the job. And those shootouts don't happen all the time. It's a nice break from going around issuing tickets and arresting people, but just know that if you do get into a big shootout, you better plan some extra time to put all these perps in body bags. And I know I kind of touched on this earlier, but one of the most chaotic parts of the Precinct is that during any crime or interaction, you can always call in for backup. And a lot of the time, they do more harm than good, which is hilarious. But it is pretty cool that anytime you deal with, say, two criminals, you never know. One may surrender and the other one may take off running. And if you don't chase the guy yourself, you can always call in for backup to have them start chasing the guy down until you can arrest both of them. But I'm not going to lie, it's when you're in a high-speed pursuit and you have to call in for a backup cruiser that this game gets absolutely hysterical, because that backup cruiser is going to fly in like a goddamn lightning bolt and either smoke the perp, a pedestrian, or any number of innocent vehicles, and sometimes even smoke your cruiser as well. But I just absolutely love that they come flying in at like 100 miles an hour the moment you call in for backup, and at the end of the day, they end up doing more harm than good a lot of the times, but thank God they're in the game because it leads to so many funny moments. So by now you know the Precinct is about getting into crazy high-speed pursuits and taking down criminals in crazy fashion, but one thing that's recently been added to the game that's pretty cool is the ability to customize your police officer. Go to the locker room in the Precinct and change your officer's clothes, your hat, your glasses, anything like that, and you can also go down to the garage and customize your police cruiser, which is pretty cool. What kind of car or truck you're going to be driving, you can paint it, lots of cool stuff like that, that's pretty cool. And then go flying out of the garage like in Crackdown to go stop crime as a police officer and a cruiser that you can customize yourself, which is pretty nice. But another cool thing about the Precinct that I love is that though the car chases are fun and the gunfights and arresting people can be a blast, the game also doesn't ignore the small parts of the everyday police officer shift, like issuing tickets. That's just a small thing that you can do. You can have a whole shift just around issuing parking tickets or giving people a ticket for littering. And if you have a huge gunfight, you have to actually put the people in body bags so that the people don't see. And I just love that the game focuses on not just the big action set pieces of being a police officer, car chases, gunfights, but you can actually have an entire shift where you ignore the call-ins from, stopping burglaries or murders or whatever. But I'm just, I'm on foot patrol today, giving car tickets or parking tickets, and that's what I'm going to do. And you can't stop me. And I think that's pretty cool. And the final thing I'll say about the Precinct is that one of my favorite parts of this game is that it doesn't ever really let you get comfortable, because though you may have done a dozen parking tickets or traffic stops, you never know. The next traffic stop that may seem like a simple littering ticket can turn into a gunfight or a car chase. And I guess that they tried to implement that because, as a real police officer, you never know how some crazy person's going to act. You never know that. And they try to add that into this crazy, chaotic cop sandbox game. And it makes it a ton of fun because, like I said, you can never get too comfortable because you never know how these criminals are going to react. What might be a small littering ticket could turn into a full-blown car chase that goes all over the city, does thousands of dollars in damages just for you to, tase them, take them downtown. And honestly, it's what keeps me playing the Precinct.
You have the right to remain silent.
Well, guys, you made it to the end. Thank you for watching my review of The Precinct. This game is an indie game that's absolutely worth your time. In a world where AAA games are constantly letting us down and not being worth the money, this game is a fraction of the price of those games, and it's so much fun. Just try this game, you don't look back. It's a ton of fun. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. If you have played the game, let me know down in the comments what you think of the Precinct. What's the craziest thing you've seen in this game? If you let me know down in the comments, I will read them because this game's a ton of fun and I want to hear more about what crazy things you guys have seen in Averno City. But guys, that's all I have for this video. If you liked the video, be sure to like the video, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because you watched all the way to the end of this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? But either way, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I have for this one, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.